and welcome to Game Buzz, the weekly news podcast from us here at dealsprone.com, where we fillet the week's news mill for the juiciest morsels. I'm Matt Gardner, I'm joined here by Carl Phillips.
I'm not a chef.
I don't know what that was.
Talking about fillet.
I'm very sorry. And
We
Jonathan...
need to stop recording these at lunchtime, man. Seriously, we're all starving.
And Jonathan Lester, there he is.
I could really go for a filet mignon right now.
Oh, you and me both, mate.
Oh, man.
And yeah, it's been a long week. We're all quite tired and now hungry. So, we pray forgiveness for the randomness and insanity that might befall your ears in the next half hour. But we're going to start with a little carryover from last week, because last week we castigated King.com for being twats.
Yep.
Well, actually, no. The actual phrase we used was trademark trolls.
Yep.
And King, to their credit, you know, they came out and they were honest.
They definitely issued a statement.
They definitely made a statement. I'm not sure if we can call it an apology.
No.
Well, it's not an apology, because the CEO came out and said, look, we did these things. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the CEO the CEO of King issued an open letter that basically said, yes, we've trademarked candy to try and protect our investment. And on the face of it, I can understand that. I mean, I understand the concept of intellectual property. You have to defend these things. It's really hard to do that on mobile platforms because it's full of clones. Really full of clones.
One might even say it's like Attack of the Clones.
Yes, you could do. But if you were
a clone army. Sorry.
But yeah, you've got to really crush those clones. You got to crush them. And the problem is, well, there is no problem according to King. They've said we've protected our IP and it's totally fine because people do this all the time. I mean, words like time and money have been trademarked after all, and you know, failing to mention that Time magazine haven't sent notices of opposition to Adventure Time or Super Time Force or or anything using the time trademark. I'm pretty sure the word money has featured in a few things, and the word fortune has appeared in a few games. Like, I don't think Family Fortune has been slapped down somehow. So yeah, I mean, the fact is, he said that they've trademarked an IP and has failed to mention that other people aren't quite as punitive with it. But yes, he's also owned up to cloning. He's also owned up to a bit of cloning. No, I'm not talking about Candy Crush. No, I'm not talking about Papa Pear. No, I'm not talking about every single game that they've made, because they are massive.
Seriously, PopCap have some money. Why the hell haven't they sued them? Because they really should.
Because they can't, you see, because apparently the brilliant double standard in all of this is it's totally fine to clone game mechanics, but it's not okay to use the word candy.
I've come up with an idea to make sick bank. Because we're part of the Hot UK Deals network.
Yes.
Yeah, we should definitely get our overlords to file trademarks for the words Hot UK and definitely Deals.
I think
I
definitely.
can't see anything wrong with that. Yeah.
Like hot, just trademarking hot.
Mm-hmm.
That's genius right there. I don't see why anyone would have a problem with it. And if anyone does, we'll just sue them.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and yes, our candid CEO Riccardo Zacconi, not our candid CEO, King's candid CEO Riccardo Zacconi, went on to say that even though they are serving notices of opposition to games like the Banner Saga, you know, that awesome game, that awesome Viking SRPG that has nothing to do with their shady knockoffs and uses the word saga, which they don't even have a trademark for. They basically said that, look, we've got to do this because it makes us look totally menacing. Basically meaning that they're taking PR advice from Grand Moff fucking Tarkin.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Yeah, let's just crush this planet. Let's make an example of this poor innocent planet just to make us look badass. Good one. Well done.
I love it. I love that they said, we don't actually believe that the Banner Saga in any way resembles any of our games, but we've got to do it. We have to.
Won't someone please think of the children?
Think of the
That's basically what they're going to end up saying, isn't
It's
it?
purely defensive. Like, it's purely defensive. We don't have a choice. We've got to go after these indie devs who can't defend themselves because. What? Actually, I don't know.
No, there's no reason.
But if you're like us and you don't understand this and you think King are being completely shady and irresponsible and kind of trolls, you can tell them about it. Because Zacconi, he did slap up an email address, rz@king.com, and said, I look forward to hearing from you.
Yep, which you can look forward to an underpaid intern deleting your email fairly quickly, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although, actually, no, they could actually turn this into an advantage.
How so?
They're getting loads of people to email them now, 'cause obviously people are complaining and the internet is a very, very angry place. So obviously he's going to be getting loads and loads of emails. Why don't they turn it into some sort of like meta game, an online game where they get people to like delete the emails for them, right? In an effort to get it down to zero. And like you can like only have like 15-minute slots of deleting emails. Yeah.
Yes.
And you have to pay more money to get more time to delete emails. And the person who gets the whole inbox down to zero gets a prize, which will probably be £5 credit on Candy Crush. But still, it'd work. It'd be like a whole meta thing, like curiosity or a donut. Yes.
My God,
Virtual
that's actually sick enough to work. They could call it the Twat Saga. It's like a horribly bastardized version of Folding at Home.
I can't. Oh.
It could actually work though.
To Kickstarter.
Yes, let's do it.
No, let's not do it. Don't do it. But something good has come out of this. Like something good has something amusing anyway. Like the internet is great. When people are dicks, the internet responds. And out of this sort of omnishambles of horrific cloning failure and trademark trolling, the Candy Jam contest has arisen. Basically by just encouraging developers to make as many games as possible using the words Candy, Saga, and Crush and stuff like that. And we have to give a shout out to Dillsbone regular Zeipher, who made a cracking parody called King Saga, which is fantastic. So applause for you.
Well done. It actually is. It's just a fantastic bit of game. It's funny. It's fun. It'll work on your phone as well.
It will. And you won't have to pay.
No.
Or anything.
There are no microtransactions whatsoever.
No hidden freaking costs. You want to badger your friends about it. It's really great. So yes, keep those Candy Jam contest submissions coming. And if you make it, if anyone out there is making a Candy Jam game, tell us about it. Let us know. That's awesome. So that was last week. That was King. That was I don't want to talk about them anymore. New stuff.
Whoa.
New shit.
Yes.
Sony.
Whoa.
Have.
Whoa.
Announced
Oh.
a Vita Slim.
Oh,
It's coming to the UK next month, and it's going to cost the cheap low sum, because they're using cheaper components, of 180 quid. Hang on. Wait,
Yay, well done.
Wait, that's not right.
Hang on.
No, that's right.
This new Vita is smaller. It uses a much cheaper screen that apparently isn't like too bad compared to that luscious, lovely, tasty original OLED screen that I
love that screen so much.
I just want to put my hands on it. Everything looks great on that screen, but apparently it's got a cheap new screen that is apparently still pretty good. And they're making savings. It costs less to manufacture, and it costs more. Come on, Sony. The Vita was starting to get some real traction because you dropped the price down. People have been buying it and getting excited about it over the last few months because that price has come down, because people are buying into it, because people are saying, well, there aren't many really big flagship games for it, but at the price, I mean, there's some cool downloadable stuff, there's niche stuff. Why not? Why shouldn't we get involved?
Yeah.
And now they've raised the price. I mean, it's bizarre on paper, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, for the sake of, I mean, they have said that they've increased the battery, haven't they? So I suppose there is that. But...
Yes, don't get me wrong. I mean, battery life is super important for handheld games. It's more important than anyone gives it credit for. This is good. It also has a totally useless gigabyte of onboard memory as well, upon which you can fit about a quarter of Uncharted.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, The Vitas had a little upswing in sales because there was there was a UK price cut, and so that's great. But now the RRP of the Slim is higher than the price cut, and there's no discount on Sony memory cards, which is the massive barrier because you can't fit anything onto a gig. And if this was SD cards, we could just pay 20 quid for a massive SD card. That would be lovely. Never have to swap it out ever again. We wouldn't have to deal with that ridiculous cluster faff that is the sort of content manager thing where you plug your Vita into your computer via USB, wait for ages as it transfers. Oh my god, I'm getting bored talking about it.
Yeah,
it's a
right.
faff sandwich. It's terrible. Like, they want to sell more of these things, right?
I really want a sandwich.
I
could really go for a faff sandwich right now.
What's even in a faff sandwich? I don't want to know. It's too close to a fap sandwich.
Ugh.
We need to move on.
Move on. But yeah, so Vita Slim, no.
Well, if it is lighter, slimmer, more comfortable, has a longer battery life. This can't be a bad thing. It's just Sony needs to, all through the Vita's lifespan. I mean, they've been crushing it on one hand with the PS3 and the PS4, and they're kind of been dropping the ball on the Vita with the other, hardly releasing any big games for it, keeping it fairly quiet, and then raising the price. Well done. So just bring out more games for it, make us want it. We've all got one. We all like it. We'd all love to recommend it more than we currently do.
Yeah.
And we're also not entirely sure why they're only releasing it in the one color, even though the original Japanese release had like 5 or 6 different colors. They've just said, yeah, you can have any color so long as it's black. And a move like ripped straight out of the Model T Ford, and you know Henry Ford and Stein. Henry Ford is like totally not necessarily a businessman you want to take like a huge amount of inspiration from. Better than Grand Moff Tarkin though.
That's very true.
They're fine.
Just about. So yeah, that's the Vita Slim. It's launching in the UK on February 7th, and what that means is you have a week to buy yourself an old Vita. Go.
Stocks are apparently going to run out very soon. We don't want to cause a panic, but you know that.
Do it now. Right, so yes, that's the Vita. Let's move on to Microsoft, who had a few little newsy bits come out this week. Let's start with some cold, hard facts.
Yes!
Microsoft bought Gears of War from Epic. Black Tusk will be developing a new installment in the really grey and brown third-person shooter series going forwards. Yes, good news. And Rod Ferguson is back at Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's all come full circle, hasn't it?
It's all coming up. It's all coming up.
Gears.
It's all coming up.
Gears. Although it's weird because I mean I kind of like the look of that what is now known as the kind of like impressions piece that they did, the proof of concept video that they showed off at the Xbox release, the Xbox One reveal, sorry, because that looks kind of good. And now, yeah, it looks like they're going to be focusing on Gears, which I don't know, seems a little disappointing in a way.
Well, it's difficult to shake the feeling that it's a bit of a step backwards because do you know what? We were excited about Gears of War 8 years ago. At the start of the last console generation. We were so up for it. And for the record, the original Gears was kick-ass.
Yeah.
It really did. Not only did it kind of invent cover-based shooting, which isn't its fault. Don't hold it against it. It was awesome at the time. But I also love that universe, you know. Sarah's got this real sense of place.
Yeah.
That kind of destroyed beauty aesthetic. I know you described it as grey and brown, Matt. I know you have your issues with the series. But I really liked it, even though the quality of the series, in my opinion, went slowly down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Gears 3, nah.
We've got to do something about that.
Well, no, we gave it a 10 out of 10 and we're sticking to it.
Yep.
I'm not sure I would have necessarily been quite so generous with that. But as things stand, it's now out of Epic's hands, but it's a bit of a dangerous move in one respect because it is a completed trilogy. It's not just completed, it's jumped the shark with a prequel. So in terms of places to go, they're really going to have to push the boat out on either bringing it back to the Pendulum Wars and E-Day.
Yeah.
because all of the games stem from that pivotal moment, and they haven't shown it to us yet. They've just written books about it. Come on, let's play it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've written an article that goes through all of these possible ideas of where they could take the series. So it's check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah, do it.
But I absolutely agree. There's just something about it that it just needs something that's a little bit fresh. I mean, you think you mentioned it earlier when you said that they need some form of new mechanic just to mix it up a little bit more. And I absolutely agree.
I'm going to be honest. Like, I mean, out of the three of us, I'm probably the least kind of excited about a new Gears game. Because I'm not hating.
You're eating a hate sandwich. You didn't, and you brought enough for the rest of the class.
Stuffing it down.
No, I'm not hating. I'm not hating.
Lettuce of jadedness.
But like, we're into a new generation, right? There's a reason why people
cynical mustard.
There's a reason people are excited for things like Titanfall and Destiny, because there are new, exciting IPs coming from companies that have proved themselves with series in the past and have done good jobs instead of sealing off those series and doing whatever they wanted to do within those series in the past. And I just think, like, it's a new console, it's a new generation. We're all really excited about new things, and I couldn't give a shit about Gears of War.
You know what? I agree with the theory of it. We should be excited about new stuff. It's like I said earlier. We're excited about Gears 8 years ago. We should be excited about new stuff right now.
Were you excited for Gears Judgment? Were you excited for Gears Judgment?
Of course I was.
No, exactly, because the trilogy's done. We've been there. We've done it.
But I'm very much of the opinion that if it's good, I'll play it. If it's good, it deserves to exist. It deserves to be played.
Well, Judgment wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't, and thus it was okay. I got a bit of a kick out of it. It was fun in multiplayer. And if this next Gears game is good, if they can push the boat out and giving us something new and hopefully really ramping up the graphics. I did have a little dig at this, but I think 1080p 60 FPS is probably what they should be targeting with this one.
Yeah.
And I know that people are saying, oh no, you should cut it some slack, but let's not make excuses for developers now. There'll be plenty of time for make exclusives for developers next year or whenever it comes out. But yeah, I think that this was always going to happen. And there are new IPs to look forward to on both platforms. I think it's okay if a few of the legacy IPs stick around and are worth playing. I'm all right with that. The proof's going to be in the pudding, and it's probably going to be pretty brown.
I think I'm sort of a little bit more hating on Gears to a certain extent, because I don't know. I think since Vanquish, I can't ever go back to it.
Yeah, but Platinum Games aren't going anywhere.
Yeah, they'll still be around. They'll still.
What I mean by that is,
admittedly, they're making a sequel.
But what I mean by that is that the really clunky, because it's fairly slow, heavy. It's like treacle. It handles like treacle. I can't go back to that. I can't play those games.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I mean, Vanquish is infinitely superior to Gears of War. Obviously, it is. But it's a subgenre, and it's one that
But it's kind of archaic now. It had its moment in the sun, and it's a bit.
One person's clunk is another person's determined tactical heft.
Yes.
And the original Gears of War did that. I remember trying to play that like a traditional shooter when it came out, and getting absolutely destroyed until I learned the finer points of active reloads and chainsaw rev up time. And
yeah, you might even say that it's kind of in a similar way to the way Dark Souls like basically punishes you until you do what you want it to.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like that sort of feeling.
Yeah, I totally agree. Apart from when Gears of War 2 came out and said, actually, the game can play itself now.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong, I loved Gears 2, really loved it. Gears 3 was crap. Gears 2 amazing. But yeah, okay, Gears is happening. There's going to be more Gears. We knew there was going to be anyway. It's confirmed now. And they've only just started working on it, so it's not going to happen anytime soon.
There's Gearsy Gears. Let's go on, because I want to rattle through very, very quickly a list of other potential Microsoft things that are happening later this year, because there was a big alleged leak from a Microsoft insider, and Microsoft are readying lawyers, which doesn't confirm anything. You still got to take all these things with massive lashings of salt.
Oh yeah.
But it's quite big but yeah, these rumors are at least litigious. Normally it's we do not comment on speculation or rumor. This is litigious.
Yeah, this was like, we're going to shut this down, and it adds fuel to the fire. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It stokes it up. And
It does.
I've got to say, some of these rumors are fun, aren't they? Crackdown 3 in 2016. Halo 2 anniversary on Xbox One
with a Halo 5 beta included.
with a Halo 5 beta, no less.
That's kind of fun.
That's kind of big. Although, yeah, would kind of suggest that if Halo 5 might be coming next year, I don't know, but yeah, you never know.
But it's the new SKUs as well. I mean, the idea
that's the thing.
Because one of them hinted at an Xbox or a cheap Xbox arriving. We don't know whether that's like the white Xbox that's incoming. We don't,
allegedly.
Allegedly, we don't know if it's possibly, and this was hinted in the leak, one without an optical drive, without that Blu-ray drive. Would you guys buy a digital Xbox One?
No, I don't think I would.
If it was cheaper. Well, you've already got one.
Exactly, I've already got one. But just speaking academically, I wouldn't buy one because Microsoft just haven't had a great track record at competing with downloadable games at all.
Yeah.
So
I'd agree with that, absolutely.
So you wouldn't buy one either, Carl?
No, I mean, think about it. I mean, if it's cheaper, that's nice initially, but if the digital pricing is not competitive, it's eventually going to be more expensive in the long run. I mean, that's the beauty with the way that retailers kind of like held them up. They've been able to sell games cheaply, and like as someone who is consumer savvy and working for a consumer savvy website, it just doesn't make any sense to go all digital when, at the moment, as it stands, their online pricing is kind of broken, as kind of evident by the Dead Rising season pass that we put up a deal for last week. So yeah, I couldn't see myself buying one with the store in the state that it's in right now.
It's an interesting kind of Mexican standoff, isn't it? Because on the one hand, like you go back to sort of like the big presses last year, and it was very clear that actually what consumers wanted was an existing status quo. And Sony went so far as to say, look, we're just keeping things exactly the same. Like, all right. And Microsoft's big plans for change had to shift to sort of match that almost. And do you know what? Like some people were disappointed after the U-turns because it was a complete inversion. Like it was a complete, oh, fine, we're not going to do any of this stuff. And our digital future was kind of like cut short because of a fear of upsetting that delicate kind of platform holder retailer balance, because it is important. Those ties are important, and whatever happens in terms of a digital future, retailers have to kind of be factored in there somewhere. They won't go down without a fight, and neither should they, because we like competition. It's what drives it down. But then on the other hand, you look at something like Steam boxes, right, where the software is cheaper but the hardware is so much more expensive.
Yeah,
and you wonder where is that? Who's gonna make the first move to really take that middle ground with an affordable box and affordable digital prices without the need for discs, and make that a really good value proposition for everyone? Because
Valve.
But they're not doing it. They're not doing it. Like Newell and Valve haven't put their money where their mouth is. They haven't done it. They're not stepping up yet. And so I don't know where it's going to come from. I like the idea of a $399 Xbox One without a digital drive. Without a disc drive. Like that appeals to me because of the cheaper price.
Yeah.
I think they're sort of taking away the wrong thing potentially to make a cheaper bundle.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I mean, as someone who has a PlayStation 3, I don't really care if there's a Blu-ray drive in it or not. That's not the issue. But their pricing is. And I think we were discussing this earlier in the fact that we're seeing more shops perhaps looking towards selling QR codes in respect to the Xbox One. And if they make those prices competitive in store, then perhaps it might be worth it in the long run to perhaps go for a digital only Xbox. But yeah, it's difficult without the pricing changing. There's no point.
If Microsoft can push that through, if they can manage to basically kind of do what Steam's done on a digital scale, which is to allow retailers like, you've got Green Man Gaming out there, like GOG sells Steam stuff. You get loads of developers putting up their own storefronts with sort of Amazon payments that deliver Steam codes. So Steam basically allows people to sell games that can be redeemed on their system. If Microsoft can do that with the Xbox One with retailers there, that would be a huge step forward, and that would lay the foundations for a cheaper digital Xbox One, and I think people would go for that if that was the case, but that's a big if.
Well,
Yeah.
Major Nelson has recently said that they're looking to sort out their digital pricing, whatever that means, probably increasing it by another factor. But also that they are definitely looking into rolling out QR codes to retailers. So, who knows? This could happen, but I think after the PSP go, I think people are just perhaps a little bit gun shy about the idea.
I agree, but I think it's only going to take. It's only going to take one, but I don't know who's going to make the first move.
Exactly, you've just got to get enough momentum up.
Yeah.
I mean, God knows, everyone thought Steam was a terrible idea until Valve managed to make a DRM platform rock somehow.
I know.
So it's possible. Anything's possible.
But yes, lashings of salt. This is all rumour thus far.
But very interesting rumour.
Very interesting and totally litigious rumour. So that's awesome. Right, quickly, 2 more things before we go. We've got to do winners and losers, but before we do, Nintendo. Iwata came out this week with some big chat, with some like, yeah, he came out with some promises, with some direction, with some action. He took a 50% pay cut, which is
very commendable.
Hats off, Iwata. You're still the cuddliest CEO out there. And then, yeah, there was this information sort of that came out in a sort of corporate briefing that emerged after Nintendo's financial reports. And 2 things I want to pick out of this. Nintendo exploring opportunities on smart devices and their plans to release a quality of life platform in 2015. And at first, you kind of look at those and go, what? And then it kind of starts to make more sense.
It does make sense. As far as mobile devices are concerned, they've been making baby steps into this space for a while. They've made Miiverse available on smartphones. They did that a while back, and they released the Pokédex 3D on iOS. They've already started trying to release companion apps that can get people excited about existing franchises on smart devices and try and get some of that audience over. It's a good idea, and frankly, I wouldn't be averse to, even though Miyamoto says Mario's not going to be coming to Android anytime soon, I probably wouldn't hate it if he did. Yeah, it's a great idea.
Like, Miiverse hasn't officially hit the app stores yet, but it's something.
Oh, it's available online.
But yeah, you can access it through your browser. I think Nintendo are going to look
on a mobile site
much more closely at really sort of tying that all in with sort of game extension apps. They talked a lot about sort of advertising and marketing. Some people have said, like, well, Iwata said, don't report that Mario is coming to smartphones because that would be completely misleading. But it's interesting that he's basically lifted any restrictions on the dev teams that are going to be working on this for use with games and game characters from the Nintendo back catalogue. Whether
Angry Birds Mario, Angry Birds Mario, Angry Birds Zelda. Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Candy Crush Zelda Crush. That's what Nintendo needs to do. They've got the clout to go up against King. Link's Crush, Link's Crushing Saga.
Nintendo Crush Saga.
They already released Link's Crossbow Training. Why not?
Oh dear.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Don't do it, Nintendo. Don't become King.com. I don't really think there's danger of that.
No.
Particularly. But I do like it. And they do, and on the other hand, with the quality of life stuff, they have precedent for this. Brain Training was like one of the biggest hits on DS when it first emerged. Wii Fit is a lifestyle device.
Yeah, this whole quality of life index, I mean, this pretty much was the Wii and the DS a few years ago. They've already done this, releasing things for the body, like Wii Fit, and things for the mind, as you've said, like Wii Music, which wasn't actually that great, but also, game training and stuff like that. And you've got, they've just released the sort of, what probably originally was the vitality sensor for use with Wii Fit U. So they're well placed to do this, and they're going to try and get back to that audience who don't identify themselves as gamers at all, yet play Wii Fit every day, play Brain Training every day. That audience existed, and they're still there somewhere, but the Wii U hasn't been able to get to them yet. So that's what they're going to try and do, and I think fair play to them. I mean, game training was cracking. My godparents, they're over well over 60, and they have well, I asked them if they thought themselves gamers, and they said no, absolutely not. And yet they've got a Wii Fit. That quality of life platform is right there.
Absolutely, because the thing is, if they get people in on there, then even if they only buy one extra game, like if something comes along like, oh, that looks interesting, then it's extra sales. It allows people to then go into gaming. It's kind of like if they go for the quality of life stuff first and then latch on gaming afterwards, which is a complete slap in the face to everything that the Wii U was meant to stand for.
Well, no, because they've said it's going to run parallel. I mean, this is what we thought that the consolidation of their departments was potentially due to new tech. And it is new tech. It's just not gaming tech. They've consolidated all their gaming tech to run parallel with this. It's
right. Well, yeah. If it is absolutely parallel, then it's absolutely fair enough. But my point is that it will allow people who go for that sort of thing to then do the crossover to gaming when they see something that takes their fancy. Like,
exactly.
Who doesn't want to pick up Mario Kart? You know, it's one of those things, and they'll have a bigger install base, and then it's the right choice for Nintendo, because that's really how they made all their money with the Wii.
And exactly, and they did that by not competing, and they've just said that. Iwata has said, we should continue to make our best efforts to seek a blue ocean with no rivals and create a new market with innovative offerings as a medium to long-term goal, which basically means he wants those heady Wii days to come again.
They have to do it now. I mean, the decision they've made with the Wii, with the original Wii, they admitted right at the start, look, we're actually smaller than our competition. We don't have the resources to go up against them directly. We can't do it.
No.
And they can't. They have they're too far behind, and they don't have the power. So they have no other course but to sort of seek out new life, new civilization, and to boldly go where no Nintendo has gone before, except exactly where they've gone before.
Yep.
Quality of life. So yes, good idea. Nice one, Iwata. Good for you.
We understand.
We understand. It's just nice to have some positive Nintendo things to talk about. Yay! Which brings us nicely on to winners and losers of the week. Let's quickly go. Loser of the week.
Loser of the week. That's a good question. It's probably Hyper Fighters. Reviews on site.
Oh my!
You can happily take my word for that.
I think that's a good shout.
Funcom with some nice fun insider trading
allegations.
Allegations.
That's the thing. They have said that they are still working as normal. Like the secret world is still operating as it has done. So it's not quite, but it's still quite damning reports coming out of their office.
Yes, and you made a very good point, which was like earlier on in the week, which was. You were wondering how this might potentially affect Dreamfall chapters.
Yes, Ragnar Tornquist has issued a statement on Twitter saying that it's not going to affect it whatsoever. So that is very, very good news.
Loser of the week could also be a selection of EVE Online corporations.
Good God, yes. That battle.
This could be both. This could be losers and winners.
Yeah, winners and losers, because EVE Online has seen its biggest battle, which escalated from basically an in-game corporation not paying their rent on a solar system.
A very cheap system, wasn't it? And
yeah, and so everyone moved in, and I think, what was it, $350,000 of real money has been lost in that battle.
The exact total was around about $3,000 that was basically lost.
No, that's per ship.
Oh, per ship. Oh, right.
and no, that's just for one Titan.
Yes, this is the Titans.
And 75 of those Titans were taken down.
Yeah,
they're worth 5K.
I think it's worth pointing out to those who don't follow EVE in the way that we kind of follow the stories. Titans are very powerful warships that in a battle, it's like on average, you might lose one, you might lose two in even some of the biggest battles. But yeah, this with losing so many was just unprecedented and absolutely ridiculous.
So you know what? Loser of the week, Pandemic Legion. You lost the station and you lost the battle. Winners of the week, it's the Clusterfuck Coalition.
Yeah.
Who've
With their
managed-
Russian allies, yes.
with their Russian allies, and probably Goon Swarm will have been in there somewhere. They always
Yeah.
are. And so that's amazing.
Only an Eve.
Only
Yeah,
Eve, the
only
game that we
Eve.
would
And that
love
is the
to be able
reason
to-
why. And that is the reason why I think Eve is one of the best games ever made. And I'm just not gonna. I just can't risk playing it.
This is the thing, like every time we try to get into it, it's kind of like, oh, all these great stories, but then you just get absolutely nowhere, and you end up just mining an asteroid.
Yeah.
It's on end. But yeah, I'd say that's a good shout for both calls, winners and losers.
Yeah.
Surely we've got to have an outright winner this week.
Oh well, outright winner is obviously Namco Bandai.
Oh God, yes.
Who this week, let's just bring things to a close, announced that they're going to face this new uncertain console generation by changing their branding, changing their name, and changing their entire identity, the way they relate to gamers. So from April, they've taken the brave and forward-thinking step to go from Namco Bandai to Bandai Namco. So good on you guys.
Yeah.
Good on you. That was a brave decision, and yeah, it's just better to say it. Bandai Namco.
Bandai
Please
Namco
fit
presents
it sounds like a
Bandai.
company in their prime. It's like Jif and Heath all over again.
The thing I don't get is that
Bando Namco.
Bandai Banco Namde.
Presents Souls Dark.
Yes.
I was going to say, yeah, because that's coming out like a month right before they change their name officially. So, just make it. Souls Dark.
The name change is set for April 1st, though, so this could just be like groundwork for a massive, really, really lame prank. You never know.
Awesome. Right, well, that's that. That's the Game Buzz for this week. Thank you so much for listening, guys. We will be back next Saturday with another trawl through the week's news. But until then, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.